Now, keep in mind, guys, I'm not saying that this kid is not going to turn into an edge. I don't know how much weight he's going to gain. He's got a full off season. He's got a whole nother year. He may do a really good job. He's close to 200 pounds right now. He may be 6'2", 215, 220. He may grow another inch. And if he starts getting in that range, depending on the level we're talking about, he could be a pass rush edge.
How to Get a College Football Scholarship, a series where we evaluate active high school football players. We break down their highlight video, share with them what divisions they have the best chance of earning a scholarship at now, and most importantly, what they need to do to get to the next level. And joining me today is our head football coach here at Next Play, Brian Overton, who has 15 years of Division I recruiting experience. Now, before we jump in, if you're interested in seeing if your son meets the criteria for a professional evaluation as well, I'll leave a link in the description below. So, Brian, let's jump right into it, man. I love these evaluations. I love evaluating players, seeing where they're at and what they need to do to get to the next level. Break it down for us, Brian. Who do we got with us here today?
So, got another 2026. He plays edge for his team, but I've got him pegged as probably a linebacker type at the next level. But he does a really nice job for his team playing edge here. Again, he's a 2026. He's about 6'1", between 190, 200 pounds. Is where I had him pegged. Big high motor guy. Exciting player on defense. And so on this one, obviously all of them vary. We did one, just recently where I didn't have a lot of plays to move around. I just had them group plays with this guy. I have some plays that I felt like he needed to, kind of move around. So I'm going to hit those first and kind of talk about why I had him shuffle them around as we jump into it here, just for everybody for context.
And real quick, before we jump in, and maybe you'll share this, but I'm curious, why not edge at the next level and linebacker?
Right now at 6'1", 190, 200, that's going to be undersized, right now for an edge, at the next level, for the most part, so, and he has a lot of characteristics, that if, because he can really run, which you'll kind of see here on the tape, he can run. He plays really well with his hands. He has a lot of linebacker transferable skills right now that I think that if he can get up over 200 pounds and run the way he does and play as hard as he does, I think he can make more impact at that position at the next level, just because of size and all those other transferable skills.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, just hearing that from a college recruiter standpoint, you know what I mean? From a versus, like a regular coach. That's interesting. So cool.
Yeah, because part of the job, that I was in was obviously every kid that you recruit, maybe doesn't fit that position. You got to remember, guys are playing in high school where their team feels like they need them, you know what I mean, the most, for whatever reason. And so your job in that role, a lot of times at the next level in a personnel role, is to sometimes see a really good player that has, is just a good football player and decide where he can possibly help your team at a different position, and I've got stories, for days about that. I talk about, when we're talking about linebacker here, this kid, I think, transitioning to linebacker possibly, depending on, the weight and things like that, if all that gets added. But, two of the best players that I ever had, at linebacker were quarterbacks in high school. And both of them went on to play in the National Football League. So, and people say, well, how did you evaluate them, as a linebacker or quarterback? Well, they were just their size, they were put together really well. They ran really well. They also, played a little bit of defense, a little bit, not exclusively, but a little bit of defense. So you got to see the physicality, the little bit of defense that they played, and they could really run. But they were the best athlete on their high school team, so they needed them at quarterback. You know what I mean? So, you have situations like that a lot.
Yeah, that's super good to know, man. Super good.
Yeah.
All right,
So
cool.
we're just going to dive in here on this tape here. So I skipped ahead to play 55. This is the first play that I had him move up into his top 5 or so. And, I'm just let it run here. He's obviously playing edge. And see, he showed really good pass rush ability right there. I see his natural hands, hand fighting. You can tell he's coached up, he dipped and ripped. But I like to change the direction here. You know what I mean? Sticking his foot in the ground. And going after the quarterback after he runs up high on him, they flush him out. He puts his foot in the ground. He keeps playing hard. He makes a really nice play, transitioning to rush, transitioning from his rush there. And I really like that, showing the change of direction, but I also liked his showing his hand fighting and some of his pass rush skills. But the main reason I had him put it up there is because the play went totally in another direction, to be able to stick his foot in the ground, keep playing hard, track the quarterback down, and still make the play. It shows effort, and being able to change direction. And so now I'm going to skip down to 213. I had him move this one up as well. Let's see here as I get down here. I don't want to go past it. I'll start right there. So I had him put this one on there as well. Again, because he shows running the hoop, guys. If you defensive linemen out there, you defensive coaches, you run the hoop every year, right? In drills or in the county fair or in conditioning, right? You run the hoop all the time. Well, this is it
Yeah.
right here on tape. Okay. Knocks the hands down. All right. Gets underneath him, keeps running the hoop, makes a big time hit on the quarterback. Okay.
Yeah.
And again, those movement skills translate really well to linebacker. Now, keep in mind, guys, I'm not saying that this kid is not going to turn into an edge. I don't know how much weight he's going to gain. He's got a full off season. He's got a whole nother year. He may do a really good job. He's close to 200 pounds right now. He may be 6'2", 215, 220. He may grow another inch. And if he starts getting in that range, depending on the level we're talking about, he could be a pass rush edge. You know what I mean? So don't get me wrong saying I'm ruling it out. I simply have to go off what we're watching right now and make an assessment on it. And what I'm watching right now, I think a lot of these things transfer, over to linebacker really well. And so I've got one more here at 307 that was buried down in here. Let me see here. I'm going to get down here to it. It was almost the next to the
I like
last
his
play on
speed
the tape.
off the
Here you
ball
go.
also stands out.
Here you go.
Yeah.
You can really see his get off here. He really
That's
just beats
insane.
him right out of the gate. Really good pass rush. You can see him run right there. See the burst and making a big play for his team. So you can see a lot of the athletic traits. Again, the hand fighting, pass rush ability, physicality, motor. All those things. And then again, I'm throwing in his size, what he currently is versus what I think he may end up, which is total projection, obviously, as to why I think if he was standing up playing an outside linebacker, and didn't have to come out of his stance with his hand in the ground and could just react and go, that he may be really intriguing to a team like that, especially even if you're talking, especially like an odd front team, if you're an odd front defense, primarily, and you're playing with a lot of, three linebackers, four linebackers, whatever they want to call them. They may not call them linebackers, but they got three down and you got two standing up on the edge and they move them around. A lot of people call them the star position now. When I was
Right.
at Arkansas, we called it the hog position, where it was a really versatile guy who was kind of a tweener. He was a 6'2", 210, 215-pound guy that was strong enough and athletic enough that if we needed to get him in the pass rush, he could, just like this guy. But if we needed him to cover, he could. He was big and strong enough to get in the run fit if we needed him. Just a very versatile player like that, and even in even front defenses as well. But I kind of see him as kind of like one of those Swiss
Yeah.
Army knife type guys, depending on how big he gets.
Do you know that immediately that guy, obviously I'm an Ole Miss fan, but Suntarian Perkins, I don't know if you know, he's a 5-star.
Yeah,
He's a sophomore year. How many I think he was definitely I almost think I mean, we had so many good pass rushers last year, but he was freshman of the not freshman. He was like SEC player of the week like 4 times last year. And he's only, I
yeah,
think, 205, 210 at most.
yeah.
And
Very
he
similar
plays
player.
that rebel, right? The hog, that
So
position.
a lot of people call it the star. It's called
Yeah.
a bunch of things, but it's that really versatile guy that can do a lot of things. You know what I mean? And this kid, reminds me of a kid like that can just he could probably help you do a lot of things, which makes him obviously a lot more marketable.
What divisions? Talk to me. Let's
So
reveal
based
it.
on Yeah, based on what I'm looking at right now, and again, the size factored in, the position he's factored in, all those things, I feel really comfortable with this kid. Right now, as a scholarship NAIA Division II player, like right now as a junior, I think he should have some serious traction in those areas already. at least having conversations with coaches and doing his outreach there, focusing heavily there to get some momentum. But I'm definitely not ruling out FCS, and I told him I would hit the camp circuit in FCS. Again, it would, depending on, again, how big he gets. If he puts on a good 5-10 pounds, which is not out of the question between now and the summer, he's got 6 full months, and keeps that change of direction and those fast twitch movements, works on his speed, runs some track and things like that, would not shock me in the least to go to a FCS camp, leave with an offer, this summer. So I told him to attack the camp circuit on the FCS level and really target NAIA Division II in his outreach to try to get some momentum there.
Love that. What do you think? What do you think he can do to get to the next division, right? Like to really solidify FCS or maybe
Yeah, so
even
I told him in his evaluation. Sometimes it just boils down to this, guy. Sometimes it's not this in depth, truly specific thing. If you got a decently well-rounded player, that does, a lot of things pretty well, they may not be obviously elite at it and things like that. Sometimes the best advice you can give them, from my point of view, is just the core basics: bigger, faster, stronger, right? Just keep getting big as you can get, eat good, put on good weight, get stronger, keep getting faster, continue working those fast twitch movements with the ladder drill, box drill and things like that. And that's some of the best advice you can give him. And I say that because let's just hypothetically say he gets an inch or two, and becomes 6'2", 6'3" next year, gets bigger, faster, stronger, gets to about 210, 215 pounds. Now the options become a lot bigger, because again, now you're a very versatile guy. Even if he plays the same position he's playing now for his team next year, a good evaluator should be able to project him to somewhere on that defense that can help them, based on the tape. And we're assuming again that, all these things happen and the tape gets better next year, which I'm assuming that it will.
Okay. Okay. Cool. I like it. Um, any other last words or advice for him to improve?
No, the only other thing I would say is, a player like this, just be, I encourage guys like this to just be very open minded when you go on the camp circuit this summer. Okay. If they want to work you out at linebacker, jump in there and do it. I don't care if you played linebacker a day in your life. They already know that, but you have very good transferable skills athletically that if you're willing to be coached, you could probably play well at linebacker at camp. All right. If they want you to play safety at camp, go jump out there and play safety. Don't say, well, coach, I've never played safety before. No, they're asking you to go out there and do it for a reason. They're trying to see if they may like you there and trying to see if it translates to their scheme or whatever. Just go out there, be coached, do what they coach you to do. They know you're going to be a little raw at it if you've never played it. They've obviously seen your tape. They know you don't play that position, but you may go out there and look really good doing it and not even know it, or not even know
Right.
you can. So I tell guys like this that are really versatile, that have, a lot of transferable skills, just be very open-minded when people ask you to work out at different positions when you hit the camp circuit, because you never know, working out at a different position may get an opportunity to pop for you.
Love it. Okay, cool. Brian, appreciate it, man. This was really good. And so for those of you listening, we publish an evaluation every single Saturday. We do these all week with athletes that are that reach out to us and that are interested in potentially working with us. This is a requirement that we have. And so we publish these we publish one, of conversation like this, right? This isn't the evaluation we actually deliver to the players. That's way more in depth. This is just kind of an overview so you can get an idea and also help you in the recruiting process. But every single Saturday at 8 a.m. Pacific, we will post an evaluation. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to watch more videos just like it, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification. And if you'd like to see if your son meets the criteria to get a professional evaluation, I'll leave a link in the description below. Look forward to seeing you on the next one.